Welcome everyone, this is Coach Nation. I'm here with Mauston baseball coach, Coach Lavold. So, how long have you been coaching for, and did you do it in college?
This is my 14th year of coaching high school baseball. I coached 4 years of JV baseball, 3 here at Mauston, 1 at a school called Wilmot down by Kenosha, and I've been the varsity baseball coach here at Mauston for 10 years. I also had a coaching stint in Norway where I coached the national champion Norwegian baseball team in 1996, which was kind of fun. I played college baseball at Winona State from 1992 to 95.
How did you become the boys baseball coach here at the high school?
I was a JV coach under Jeff Sanders, and Jeff Sanders went back to school to get his PhD in physics, and with him leaving, the varsity position was open and was offered to me, so I took it.
So is that what made you become interested in the coaching spot?
Yeah, I mean, I really was happy being the JV coach. I didn't mind doing that. It wasn't like a professional goal where I had to be the varsity coach, but yeah, when he left, I was interested.
Where do you practice? How often do you practice? And what is a typical practice like?
We practice down at the baseball field unless we have inclement weather, then we're in the gym. But most of the time we're down at the baseball field behind the middle school. We practice every night that we don't have a game. Practice Monday through Friday, except for game nights, which in the spring can be always on Tuesdays and Fridays, could be Mondays and Thursdays as well. And usually we practice from about 3:45 to 6 o'clock. We always have a hitting session, and we always have a defensive session, and of course we throw and do some running as well, base running, that kind of thing.
How many men are on their team, and what are their strengths and weaknesses?
We've got 16 players that practice with us every day. Sometimes we carry 16 on the varsity, sometimes we don't. Strengths and weaknesses, sometimes I'd say their strengths are that they're guys that like baseball and have talent in baseball, and for the most part work hard. Their weaknesses are sometimes they have trouble staying focused on what they need to get done for the day, and sometimes I think that I take the sport more seriously than they do, and I mean that's not a big deal, but I'm just, as far as weaknesses goes, that's probably the big one. They're just not as focused as I am, or as much as I'd like them to be.
I hear that the pitching is very good. Would you like to talk about the pitchers?
And we've actually got 4 very strong pitchers here on the varsity this year. We've got Dustin Montia Sr., who's a right-hander, and he's probably the hardest thrower of the 4. I'd say he's probably low 80s. He's got a good fastball and curveball. And then we have 3 lefties. We have junior Brady Nelson and 2 sophomores, Adam Ryan and Kenny Walker, and they've all done an excellent job. Brady and Dustin are our conference pitchers. They take turns alternating, and then Kenny and Adam do a good job for us in the non-conference aspect of our schedule.
Define your goals for the program, for the individual players, and for yourself.
Well, for the individuals, in my program, the goals I would have is I just want them to get better. I know that theirs might be to get all conference recognition or something like that, but I just want them to get better at baseball every day. I want them to respect the game and understand the baseball is the national pastime. There's a lot of history behind it, and I want them to understand how to act on the field and how to act off the field. And I'd also like them to turn into fine young men that learn some lessons from the baseball. As far as for our team, this year's team goals are we want to win the conference championship. We also want to win a regional championship this year. And if we get to sectionals, then we'll just take it one game at a time. But those are our 2 big goals right now. We haven't been to the regionals we haven't won a regional championship since 1968. And we feel like this is a year that we can be competitive. The regional is our entire conference. And we figure if we can be at the top of our conference or near the top of the conference, we have a chance to win the regional. As far as, did you ask me about myself too?
Yeah.
Personal goals as a coach, I don't really have a ton of personal goals. I just want to have the best team possible, and I probably would like to be in the running for the Brewers managerial position by 2015. No, I'm kidding.
I know that you have a weight training program for the players. Would you like to talk about like what kind of program they're on?
It's a pretty basic program. We ask that they lift twice a week, and normally we do it in the mornings from 7 to 7:30. This year our season's been very busy the first couple weeks. We had 4 games 2 weeks in a row, so I didn't have the morning sessions. We've just started implementing it here in the last week, and we've been doing it after school before we start practice. Next week we will be starting the morning session from 7 to 7:30. It was designed by one of our assistant coaches, Sky Druba, who had an internship with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays last summer and got to work with all the strength and conditioning coaches. So we think it's a pretty good program.
Your team is 7-3 overall and 3-0 in the conference. What do you think it'll take to stay at the #1 spot?
Don't take anybody for granted. Never underestimate any of your opponents, and take care of business when we play each team. Like we stated before, we have very strong pitching. Our defense has been very good, and our bats are really starting to come to life. If we get good pitching, good defense, and good hitting, I think that we are definitely the team to beat. But like I said, you play the games for a reason. Anything can happen on any given night. We just have to play our hardest.
Your baseball program recently got a new field and new dugouts. What do you like about the new facility compared to last year's?
What's there not to like? The Golden Eagle Booster Club really stepped up and helped us. This has been a plan that's been 4 years in the process. About 4 years ago, my assistant coach and I, Gary Stoutinger, went and asked for a couple $100 to help us fix our dugouts because they were starting to fall apart. And at the end of that night, they had talked about maybe building us brand new dugouts and maybe even doing some other things for our field. And over the past 4 years, this is what's happened. We've gotten a new infield surface, new sod, new dugouts, and also a brand new scoreboard, as well as new backstop fencing and fencing going along the first and third lines. It's been amazing, and it was financed entirely by the Golden Eagle Booster Club and also by some personal donations from some families. Just name a couple names. Robert and Evelyn Gray donated money for our dugout. And then for the scoreboard, we had Big T School of Driving, Gray Electric, and Mauston American Legion Post 81 all donate money for that scoreboard. So we really appreciate what everybody's done. As far as what the difference is, our field is now a true baseball field. I mean, our dugouts have excellent storage. Our scoreboards, you can see the score from anywhere within a half-mile radius, where before you needed binoculars from our dugout. And the field surface, I think we were actually at a disadvantage because when a ground ball would get hit, our guys were wondering where it was going to bounce, where now we know we're going to get a true hop because the field is nice and flat and we're getting true hops and everything. It's a lot safer. Before, you'd get balls off the lip and guys were taking them off the face.
Well, that's great. Could you describe some of the fun times you have had with the team?
Every year is definitely interesting. This year's group of guys have this singing talent that they like to do. So far, we've won every road game we've had, and there's lots of singing going on the way home, and I'm always interested in what songs they like to sing. But other fun times we've had is I'll never forget winning our first conference title last year. It was against Wisconsin Dells at home. We were down 9-8 in the bottom of the 8th inning, and we scored 2 runs with 2 outs to win it. That was one of the greatest days of my life. It was a lot of fun, and I'm hoping to. We've gone to the Metrodome a couple times. That's always been a thrill to play in a major league stadium, but I'm hoping to do a lot of fun times this year too. We've got some goals that we want to achieve.
Well, thank you, Coach Lavold, and stay tuned because we will have Mauston's golf coach, Mr. Andreason, here next.